Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to be talking about, well, space, Artemis II, everything to do with NASA, movies. It's going to be real fun.
Movies and books and writing and imagination have often been spurred in the past by real world events. Be it, big movies like Titanic being retellings of things, or even people imagining stuff. Young writers that were alive when Sputnik first went around the world started dreaming and writing sci-fi. You never know where somebody's inspiration is going to come from. And Paul, we now live in my lifetime, at last, we went back to the moon in
Yeah.
when I say we, the like people have sent probes and all sorts of stuff, but humans um have gone out as far as the big rock that's hanging out with us and helps out with the tides. So Artemis 2 mission and the Artemis program, as it's going to be, because there'll be more and more Artemis missions, and eventually a moon base. Like this is not, I'm not making this up. This is their plan,
Yeah, this
everybody, by
isn't
the way.
this isn't a pitch for a script.
And that's why it's so interesting to talk about. It sounds like it could be a pitch for a script, and so many people didn't know about it until after the launch at the start of April. And then everybody got filled in going, I didn't even know they were doing this. And what, they're going to put a base on the moon? What, there's going to be nuclear powered bases on the moon where, we're going to explore this, that, and the other. We're going to use it as a launch pad to get to Mars, whatever. Paul, I think we're living in an incredible time, and I'm so grateful that space exploration is back in the hands of non-commercial entities,
Yeah.
to be polite about it. But I'm also really happy with the future of movies, sci-fi, and general creativity.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because we've had captures. It's like when they were announcing the fact that they're going to go back, they're going to start going to Mars. We got a lot. Now, Mars has always been that kind of like other rock that's in the space that you like. It's the same round size as like Earth, and everybody's kind of interested in it because it's the closest. It's the closest yet still uninhabitable kind of planet to Earth. But the moon has always been there. We have had a
Yeah,
lot of things that have had to do with the moon, and I think that there's going to be a resurgence of essentially moon-based movies or TV shows. We already have two that kind of came out around the time. The latest season of All Mankind has
there
come
you
out,
go. Yeah,
which is pretty much all to do with an alternative space race. And also, of course, Project Hail Mary or Hail Mary also has recently come out as well.
yeah, fair play. Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which, and side note, while the Artemis 2 crew were in quarantine, they got a preview showing of Project Hail Mary, which
Oh,
they
wonderful.
reviewed it as uplifting. So just as a little
Oh,
tidbit.
that's good. Gosh, I would have been very nervous. Mild spoilers for the fact that somebody gets a little bit lost in space, for lack of a better term, in Project Hail Mary. I would have been like, "Are we sure we want to show this to people who were just about to?" Ugh. But yeah, look, no, I'm loving it. And for the film fans and the non-film fans out there, sci-fi. Some of the earliest images people will associate with sci-fi movies will be, people shooting a bullet into the man on the moon's eye, that old
Yeah.
iconic image. You've got 2001 did have one nice big black wardrobe on the moon at one point.
Yeah.
I know it's not a wardrobe for all of you who think I'm serious, but yeah, like I love the idea that with this and with the next, let's say, 10 years of their planned launches, you're going to be talking two a year from I think next year. This is going to become something that we're again going to see people doing. It's not going to be about how many satellites can we put up for better internet. It's going to be what are we actually going to be able to go and do? What experimentation are we going to be able to do on the moon? What will the moon open up as further space travel or further scientific exploration? This for me feels like the sort of stuff that will inspire, I don't know, somebody who's watched Star Trek The Next Generation and thought, I love the idea of the future. But now that that feels so much closer today, they'll have new and braver ideas. I just get a feeling it'll have a good effect that we won't see for 25 years. But if you trace it back, you'll be talking to some director and be like, "Oh, I remember when I was 10 watching the splashdown from the Artemis II crew."
Well, this is the thing, yeah. So we've had a period of time where space has been this dangerous thing, and now we're going through another period of essentially optimistic and like kind of exploration, this wonder that we seem to have always missed in the recent
Yeah.
years, kind of thing. Which I do agree. This is going to inspire new directors, new writers, new creators, to develop stories and kind of content to do with the moon. Not only do we have just the story, the fact is that this is the most televised, streamed like space
Yeah.
exploration thing we've ever had. The fact that we had
Yeah.
Instagram live streams of them passing the moon,
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
fucking like excuse me my language, but vlogging of the Artemis crew and stuff like that. Like, there's no better time to essentially show the wonder of our advancements by going, yeah, by the way, right now there's four people that are not anywhere on this planet. They are, and I don't mean that
Yeah.
that they are so far out, in space.
Yeah. They're not
And
near Earth orbit in the ISS or anything. They're out there.
yeah, like it takes a couple of days to get there, kind of thing. So I definitely
Yeah.
do think that this is an inspirational. I think we're moving away also from the space is trying to kill us thing to space is such a wondrous, marvelous thing, and look at us go into us as the new frontier of exploration. I do think that we've got an inspiring future of movies and also movie directors and writers.
Yeah, and I think there was a whole generation, my whole generation who, like, I grew up in the shadow of the space race and the moon landings. The 70s were an incredible time, and I came along in the late 70s. But it was one of those things where, but there's a generation who really had technology be very Earth-based. Everything, extraterrestrial, everything outside of our, like, our little ball here really was about, is it going to be commercial space flight? Is it going to be, joyrides to space? Is it going to be satellites? Is it going to be missile defense? It was all very.
Yeah,
I'm so happy that there's going to be another generation now that had what some of those brilliant writers from, the 60s and 70s who were inspired by that will have. But also, I'm not going to lie, because there's going to be a load of people in the comments if this video gets doesn't get shadow banned by YouTube, that we're going to get the political side of it too. Because let's face it, this is another space race.
yeah.
Nobody's just doing this out of the goodness of their heart. That's the part that I'm interested in. I hate when politics is involved in space, but let's face it, politics is always involved in space. So there's so many angles to this. There's so many things. But in 10 years, if there are people living, let's say, temporarily living on the moon for a month at a time and driving around doing surveys, I think that's going to make everybody of every age on Earth more accepting of, let's say, less far out there sci-fi. So I think it's going to broaden people's horizons. We both have friends. We both have one friend in particular that we both share who will not watch something that is, I don't like stuff in space. That's literally their line. I can't buy into a movie if it's in space. This will heavily chip away at that. It's like, the moon is space.
Yeah.
There you go. Is it going to make it easier for you to watch anything else in space? So I'm so pumped for this. I think it's such a positive thing in so many ways, but I think it's going to have a greatly positive impact on cinema and TV.
I do too. I think this is. I do think that. Yeah, I do think that there's going to be kind of some geological, like geopolitical kind of things, because we had the Russians versus the US. Now we're technically having the US versus China and the Chang'e project kind of thing. So like we
Yep.
also, which also for all mankind also has the whole like Russia versus US kind of alternate space race.
Cosmonauts versus astronauts versus
Yeah,
taikonauts.
yeah.
It's all, yeah, yeah.
So there's an interesting kind of thing. So I definitely think, and I think that we're going to trace it back to the Artemis project and the Artemis II project, because we already have it in our head, because we already have the Ares 1, Ares 2, Ares 3 like in our heads because of the Martian. Like their
Yeah.
whole like landing on, they were Ares 3, and there's going to be the Ares 4 mission, which is, there's so many things that we have going on that's so kind of interesting and so inspirational within movies, that I think that real world now kind of like catching up, I guess, a little bit,
Yep.
and also now giving us the materials to, create wonder and create new
Yeah.
optimistic material. You know, I think this is something. I think the Artemis 2 project was or the Artemis project was something that we needed as a
Yeah.
race, as a species, kind of thing. Which is just like, we're going back to the moon. That's exciting. It's something. It's a new frontier. It's something
Yeah.
nice.
Can I give you one anecdote before we go,
Of
though?
course.
Because my YouTube feed, I watch YouTube on my TV. I know it's more and more popular now. I've been doing it for years. I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube or watch movies and stuff on streaming services. Terrestrial TV is not for me anymore. But my feed, oh man, the joy I had of my feed saying, loads of Artemis stuff, because obviously I'm a big nerd. But then there was, pictures of Earth, latest pictures of Earth from space. And I was like, beautiful. And the tile right next to it was flat Earth stuff. And I'm like, oh, we got so close. We got so close to getting over a lot of our modern day problems. And my opinion is we'll never all agree with what the problem is unless we start looking at problems in a more broad sense. And I think our biggest problem on the planet is all our ways to divide ourselves, and not disagree, disagree in a conversational way. I thought, great, people are going to see even better images from the moon and the Earth. We're going to have another Earthrise photo. It'll all be wonderful. And then I forgot, crap, we got flat Earth now. Now
Yeah.
we got something else to get in the way. Holy shit. Can we not have nice things, Paul?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Anyway, yeah, so I think it's good for everybody, but I think because we're a movie and an entertainment channel and all that, I think this is actually probably a bigger deal than people in the industry are talking about.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, so let us know down below what you think of, will the Artemis project, which is inspire new directors, new writers, new content creators, specifically on focusing on space. Do you think that we're going to have an influx of movies that are going to be talking about, like, especially on the back of Project Hail Mary and stuff? Are we also going to Excuse me, are we also going to have which is a bunch of movies that are to do with the moon? You know.
Could we finally have the golden age of sci-fi that, we almost had once upon a time, that kind of 2001 Star Wars, etc. Could we be back into another one of those where it's actually seen as mainstream again? Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. So yeah, let us know. Let us know if it's inspired you. Um, who have you been, Paul?
I've been Paul.
And I've been Patrick. And we're the astronauts that visit this Earth every Thursday. You should like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. But most of all, just be nice to your neighbor because I check the pictures. We're all in the same big blob of dirt and water.